Well, I want to welcome everyone to the July meeting of the Greater Houston Aquarium Club. And I want to give a huge shout out, thank you to everyone here at Fish Gallery Woodlands for putting up with us. Mark and everyone did an amazing job, and I'm certain that they will be dealing with our messes and things. We'll try to make certain and keep it nice and clean. So, Wabi-kusas. Wabi-kusas are kind of a unique aspect of the hobby. They're not particularly aquariums, but they're more like a vivarium or at least a paludarium in concept, but it's a micro scale. The Wabi-kusa as a brand is actually owned by Aqua Design Amano, which is the ADA brand. They actually produce a whole Wabi-kusa line, and they can get really, really crazy. I fell in love with one almost 10 years ago when ADG posted one, and oh my God, it was amazing. And I asked the guy, I said, how much for that little bitty glass bowl and that light? And he was like, here, let me check. And he was like, it's $450. And I was like, you are crazy. Dude, that is crazy talk. Dude, that is like a goldfish bowl and a light, dude. No way. And I learned and grew, and I began to understand that those are really nice jazzy lights. Dude. You do not have to spend $300 on a light. It's really cool, but there's lots cheaper ones. So, really kind of the style and the Wabi-kusa was created by Takashi Amano. Takashi Amano was, if you understand where he kind of came from, it kind of sheds a lot of light on a lot of the ADA philosophy and its practices. Takashi Amano grew up from like a little one over in Japan, and he was taught bonsai, and he learned all the bonsai techniques. So he had a big understanding in kind of Japanese aesthetic and practices. That's really where a lot of the aqua soil came from. If anyone's familiar with bonsai, the hakadama is the actual soil. It's like clay spheres that they use for bonsais. The aqua soil is just basically shrunk down hakadama. It's shrunk down real small. And that was his approach. So first I'd like to talk about wabi-sabi, which is the art of imperfection, from our root of Wabi-kusa. The Japanese tradition of wabi-sabi offers an inspiring new way to look at your home and your whole life. According to Japanese legend, a young man named Sen no Rikyu, if I mess this up, you don't blame me. I have spent all of less than a minute studying Japanese. So, sought to learn the elaborate set of customs known as the way of tea. He went to tea master Takino Ju, who tested the younger man by asking him to tend the garden. Rikyu cleaned up the debris and raked the ground until it was perfect, then scrutinized the immaculate garden. Before presenting his work to the master, he shook the cherry tree, causing a few flowers to spill randomly onto the ground. To this day, the Japanese revere Rikyu as one who understood to his very core a deep cultural thread known as wabi-sabi. Emerging in the 15th century as a reaction to the prevailing aesthetic of lavishness, ornamentation, and rich materials, wabi-sabi is the art of finding beauty in imperfection and profundity in the earthiness, of revering authenticity above all. In Japan, the concept is now so deeply ingrained that it is difficult to explain to Westerners. No direct translation exists. Broadly, wabi-sabi is everything that today's sleek, mass-produced, technology-saturated culture isn't. It's flea markets, not shopping malls. Aged wood, not swank floor coverings. One single morning glory, not a dozen red roses. Wabi-sabi understands the tender, raw beauty of a gray December landscape and the aching elegance of an abandoned building or shed. It celebrates cracks and crevices and rot and all other marks that time and weather and use leave behind. To discover wabi-sabi is to see the singular beauty in something that may first look decrepit and ugly. Wabi-sabi reminds us that we are all transient beings on this planet, that our bodies, as well as the materials world around us, are in the process of returning to dust. Nature's cycle of growth, decay, and erosion are embodied in frayed edges, rust, liver spots. Through wabi-sabi, we learn to embrace both the glory and the melancholy found in these marks of passing time. Bringing wabi-sabi into your life doesn't require money, training, or special skills. It takes a mind quiet enough to appreciate muted beauty, courage not to fear bareness, willingness to accept things as they are without an ornamentation. It depends on the ability to slow down, to shift the balance from doing to being, to appreciate rather than perfecting. You might ignite your appreciation of wabi-sabi with a single item from the back of a closet, a chipped vase, a faded piece of cloth. Look deeply at the minute details that give it character. Explore it with your hands. You don't have to understand why you're drawn to it, but you do have to accept that it is. Let's see. So there's no literal translation of Wabi-kusa in the English language. Wabi denotes something aesthetic, imperfectly beautiful and natural, as in, like in wabi-sabi. Kusa means grass, or sometimes plant. Therefore, Wabi-kusa cannot be translated literally. It denotes something natural, beautiful, sweetly imperfect, and involving plants.
Good.
The English language is clearly not conceptual enough to have evolved a single word to express all these connotations, which is probably why we have kept the name Wabi-kusa. To maintain the simple elegance of the concepts the Japanese name denotes. Wabi-kusas are balls of substrate that are covered with plants that are grown in their terrestrial form. Very similar to plants that are grown hydroponically in nurseries. These substrate balls are placed directly in a small glass container with some water in it, then allowed to grow naturally. This is a very different approach to aquascaping techniques, where the layout of the aquarium is planned with exquisite care and plants are carefully maintained. Wabi-kusa allow nature to flow freely, and as such, they produce stunning results. Wabi-kusa is a celebration of the wildness and chaos of nature, and as such, it is extremely seductive and inspiring. A piece of wilderness in your home, bedroom, or office. The compulsive power of Wabi-kusa is undeniable. Once the Wabi-kusa is placed in the plant glass container, a few inches of water are added, depending on the plants and the shape of the container that you have. Once this is done, simply place the Wabi-kusa under a suitable light for plant growth. This could be a desk lamp. This could be a cool IKEA LED wire lamp. Something that can give it some light. It could be under in a nice windowsill. I would probably avoid direct light. That would probably cook it. We don't want to cook our Wabi-kusa. We don't want Wabi-kusa soup. But, as long as it's getting some indirect light, and watch your plants. Watch where they're growing. If they're looking a little bit kind of pale, then it's going to need a little bit more light. You'll have to kind of feel it out. I've seen a lot of those hot lights, and those craft lights. Those can really work. Really just kind of find something that inspires you. Or get a compact fluorescent and find a little desk lamp, and it can work. I've seen those articulated lamps work quite well.
On Amazon, they have a bunch of LED lamps that have a net that can be moved up or down so you can get more or less light as you want. And they have a clip on them so you can clip it right onto your bulb.
See, perfect. We'll kind of show different options. I'm certain on the group Alex is really good about hunting down all sorts of cool accoutrements. Let's see. Unlike aquascapes, Wabi-kusa tend to not use hardscape. Okay, so when we talk about an aquarium, and I usually say hardscape and I say softscape, a lot of people can sometimes get confused by that. Hardscape would be wood, rock. Softscape would be plants or tan and like leaves and stuff like that. It's more mutable and it's more transient. It kind of moves. You know, if the plants grow, then all of a sudden that's, you know, the wood isn't going to grow. It's dead. So it's going to pretty much stay there. That's why I kind of call it hardscape. Rocks don't tend to break or grow in the tank, so I call them hardscape as well. I could almost argue that substrate is a softscape because it can move, you know, shift over time. I can say that I've seen them added. I brought a couple of things. Literally, I walked into the backyard and I had some dead herb plants that looked kind of cool. So I like pulled them out of the pot and I shook off the dirt. I'm going to show them. And if you are inspired and you go, I like that, I want to work that into my Wabi-kusa, then snip off some and you've added. I also found a dead stick. Feel free. They cost me a whole lot of nothing other than my backyard. So you guys can kind of find that. And I want, you know, whenever you guys approach your wabi, I want you to kind of look at stuff in a different view. Don't get so confined as to go, oh, they don't sell it at the fish store, then I can't use it. It's a plant ball. Have fun. If you want a small, I don't know, anime figure jammed into it like he's climbing a mountain, rock on. That is your journey. That is your wabi. Have fun with it. Let's see. Oftentimes the way I have seen them laid out, you can see here, basically kind of the growing container, your vessel. I have seen substrate used. I have also not seen substrate used. If you don't like substrate, that's okay. If you do like substrate, hey, that's awesome. You can use whatever. Do you like dark substrate? Do you like dark sand? Terrific. You like light sand? Terrific. The water, honestly, I think this water is a little dirty. I would probably just swap it out. Usually it's kind of clear. I've seen people utilize tap water. That's fine. I can tell you that one of the easiest ways, one of the most annoying things about living in Houston, Texas, that I have lived with for 40 years is hard water lines. I hate hard water lines. If you like to fight that battle, then rock on. Give more power to you. I will tell you that the amount of water that you're using here is ridiculously small. Then go and buy 1 gallon of distilled water. And it has no minerals in it, and you're not scrubbing hard lines. You'll never have that problem. So then if you need a little water, and then if you want to mist it, you can just kind of spray it, and you know how much of that like light mineral deposits get on the glass whenever you mist it with RO? None. 0. It just evaporates because it's just pure water. Distilled water and RO water is essentially the same thing. It's just we get there from a different road. Inherently, it's essentially the same thing. Distilled water, what they do to get the minerals out is they boil the water, and then through a distillation, they cool it, so they just are collecting steam. So it's pure water. Or you can go through a 7-stage micron filtration system that naps out all the bad stuff, and again, same destination, 2 different roads. That's the difference. This is that snazzy light. It only costs like $300. It is crazy. Like, I didn't even know that they existed. Looks just like a bed lamp to me. I was like, wow, dude, that's a pricey one. And this little vessel right here probably costs about $150. Dude, or you just go to Michael's and spend $5. Dude, I can't, I don't know what kind of magic they do over at ADA. Like, they might utilize magic in creating it, hire a wizard, but they're probably getting the glass things from the same places. I have seen wabi-kusas utilize a ball. That's kind of the traditional approach to it, but I have also seen them piled up in a corner and kind of loose, growing like a mountain. That sounds like it might be a little bit trickier to do a water change, but is there some sort of rule that we're breaking? No. Inherently, we're kind of forging ahead on our own. So really kind of approaching the wabi-kusa should be kind of that freedom to kind of do as you so choose. Feel what kind of feels natural to you and inspires you. Sometimes I've seen individuals make a perfect round ball. I have seen people kind of do a more smashed flat ball. I have also seen other people make almost like a weird flattened cylinder where it's, dude, is any of them right or wrong? No. Inherently, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of it. The way that we kind of create the wabi-kusa, and I'll kind of guide you through so you'll kind of know. We'll be doing it whenever we're actually making them, but we're going to take aqua soil, and we're going to take some RO and distilled water, and we're going to wet it down. And then we're going to just kind of like take it and smash it down. We're going to make the ball about the size for your vessel. So that's why we wanted you to have your vessel. Now, can you do it with not having a vessel? Yeah, but it's definitely going to determine the size of vessel you're going to need. You make a huge honking ball that's not going to fit in one of those smaller vessels. So knowing your vessel will help. Then, once we kind of got our ball smashed down, right, you don't want to over wet it. You just want to wet it enough where it's got some some clay consistency. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take some moss. Moss is the most effective thing, and we're going to kind of lay it around your wabi-kusa, right? So we've got our ball, substrate layer, and then we're going to put the moss around it. Then we're going to take thread, dark green thread, black thread, whatever. It can be cotton, it can be nylon, it's okay. Nylon's not going to break down. I have yet to see cotton break down in an aquarium. I don't know why. I would think it would. It doesn't. Like, I have yet to see it. I'm pulling out my 10-gallon. It's got to be 12 years old. That stuff just doesn't. So, and we're going to wrap it around, right? That's going to kind of give us our shape and hold it. Then we're going to kind of tie it off. And at that point, we have our wabi-kusa formed. At that point, my recommendation is to kind of set it loosely in your container. See how it looks. See how you imagine this vessel filling, if you will. Do you want, what kind of look do you want? Then what we're going to do is basically wander around with a tray of different plants. Believe it or not, you don't need many plants for a wabi-kusa. If you end up like grabbing a whole cup of something, it ends up looking kind of like a hot mess, because you've got this huge hat that's, now on it. And that huge hat doesn't look right. So we're going to kind of choose stems. And oftentimes it's best to do just a couple of tiny little stems, and then you let those grow. And as they kind of emerge, it'll start taking shape. and you kind of let it run wild. So you want a little bit of a selection. If you just choose one big green plant, then it becomes one big green moss. I mean, that's cool. You can have an amazing chia pet. That isn't what you're going to get. So you want some like different colors leaves and different kind of colors and textures, shapes. Look at those sort of things, you know, and that'll kind of help guide you. And then you take some small pincets and you place them. And then it looks like really small and tiny. And those wabi-kusas that we kind of showed that were amazing, you know, have grown in for about a year. So it's just going to take a little while. Now, what I would recommend is misting it once or twice a day. Now, with wabi-kusas that are open, that are highly open, you know, wide open, then it becomes kind of difficult to maintain its humidity. So those you might want to have to like mist 2 or 3 times a day, right? That's going to keep up your humidity. Or you can go with a drier plant. Do you have to use aquarium plants for wabi-kusas? No. No, me and Jamie were actually discussing creating a herb wabi-kusa and using like Genovese basil and some nice purple basil and maybe some like watercress. You'd be amazed. You go up to like Home Depot, you can probably find all sorts of cool different mosses. There are a million different things. Most plants in our aquariums, 95% of them don't grow in the water. They survive a flood spot, and then that's it. They grow pretty much on the edge of the bank. They actually grow in the air. So that's oftentimes why we have to jam in CO2, because they don't like being underwater, especially like for a long time. They prefer being out in the air. So they're going to actually grow better, but I will say that some plants have been grown underwater, so as they emerge into air, their leaves are going to kind of crisp up a little because it was used to growing in water. So as you see new leaves, they'll look a little different, and that's the difference between an emerged growth and a submerged growth. So if you see those two terms, that's kind of what those mean. I know that we are going to have to figure out, at this point, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break while we reset. We're going to set up our tables around here. Work right here. Yes. Okay.
Trying to get us some water.
Basically, anybody who's all right, so does anybody have the plates? The plates are stacked right there.
Yes.
Yeah, can I get some? Yeah, mine. They're there for everybody.
The next step will be wrapping moss. The bigger moss.
Anybody know how to start a school of thread if we can't find the end of it?
I can. Where's it at?
Oh, is it underneath the label?
Westland started mine. Right?
I like that. How is he?
So that's a cat.
How many? Come back and just say
That's a nice ball.
So it's spread, but so just kind of stretch a little bit, and not lots of weight. did I tell?
Hey, Jamie.
Yes.
Can I come get a little plate?
Yes, however you want. It can be
You rock.
any shape.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've seen your monster play. You'll have to get a be off the pool.
You wash your hands really good with soap on it.
Yeah, we're gonna actually start bringing around.
Really?
It'll be
Yeah, they're on well.
How many balls do you guys?
I'll get you a paper towel in a minute.
I was about to give you some pants, but now you can
I've got
accept.
to be asking for some.
Well, we should have put them all.
Wrap it up so it's tighter on here. Yeah, and then wrap it. You don't want it to look in everything, you want it to be on there too.
Are you heading over to kids to Moss?
No, I was going to say, look at the bread. You'd like to bring some more to the kids.
Oh, look at it.
That's what I wrote on.
How to tap in.
We're all looking the same.
Yeah, we have meetings with this one, no, usually it's the last one. Oh yeah, no. Honestly,
Anybody else see moss down there? You good?
Okay, all right, so did you get your moss on it?
I need to wash my
Alright,
hands.
so now you can put it in your kind of get a look at it. So there's how much is gonna
Isn't it counterproductive to wash my hands before I'm eating? I'm just saying. Because my There's so much. At least in this bottle, look, I got you.
Yeah, because like,
I don't want to spray it on
So scratch the exact. So I'm just gonna kind of catch everybody up and see where everybody is at. Alright, so everyone should have worked on a ball. No, there's no room. We've gotten, most everybody has formed their actual Wabi-kusa ball, right? Alright, so you want it kind of dense, and you've got to imagine you're going to be adding some moss and plants to this. So getting this in the vessel becomes a little bit tricky. You don't want to have it maxed out. Remember negative space and that wilderness look. Once you have formed your ball, then what you're going to do is get with Jamie here. She is distributing some moss.
We're all distributed.
Okay, we're all
These
distributed.
people are pretty close to putting plants in.
Alright,
They're
so
brilliant.
once we've got moss on it, we take thread. And what we're going to do is wrap around it about 15 to 20 times. That's going to hold. I need to make balls.
can you hand me
I'm gonna go get my
And also when do I'm here, plants inside, you know, and the air
Alright, so once we have your moss around, now try to be judicious with the moss. We've got only a limited amount, so let's make certain that everybody gets some.
I think you really set us up.
Hey, thank you, Joe.
No, there's plenty of moss. Right here in that.
Once you have your ball with moss tied up, then you're going to
I hear what you said. Roy, what was the last thing you said?
I'll come around.
I'm hearing the gas product, and if it breaks in blue, I will give the instruction.
Alright, so once you have the, alright, so once you have it tied, once we have it tied up, then we're going to go and select the plants. And those are sticky. You don't want extremely large, just a small snip. A small snip would probably be fine. You know, and what you're going to do is insert it. Now, see somebody else can come along. You see what I'm saying? You don't need every place to look at these things are so big. When that plant starts growing, yeah, they're honest. It's just a lightly. Moss is fine.
Something like this. I brought two, and Roy brought like four. Yeah, chickens that just have pigeon.
Yeah, all right. So you're going to take your 4 steps.
Slide it in next to it.
Find what spot you find.
These you take.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jamie. Can I talk you out of a set of forceps to kind of share around?
Yes.
Oh, it's all right. I see.
Brush scissors. Oh, the grass?
Right. I don't mind getting dirty, but when it gets to the point where I can't, I know you're practical work. Good? Yeah, just something for the roots. You want the roots to get fully kind of encased in that hole, and then they're going to grow out into that ball, that soil ball. Excellent job.
I didn't tie mine. I just like pushed it into the mud.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to say, this one here, I actually have red on. Honestly, once the ball kind of forms, it's going to be kind of sticky to itself and basically hold its shape. So we're going to do Can you get some of the program? Yeah.
Very friendly around
It
here.
is. I know it wants
I prefer so much easier to remove.
Oh, wait, Jamie's good. Yeah.
It's real burning.
I got some. Look, Sharon, can you take the wheel over? Yes, I will. I'm gonna put it in that. I want something that would be like yeah, not real long. I have what's that one? Is that one? Yes, we're gonna have.
Yeah, that's what Alice is doing.
That was
Yeah, I would honestly. I mean, it's a standard, really all it takes is a tiny bit of
That's the instant recipe.
now.
I gotta have something.
Does anybody have any of the screens? You didn't know the screens at your stem panel. Oh, sweet.
Now, Roy,
Yes.
what's your opinion on the dubious system? We still need to leave the rhizomes out? Or?
No.
No, it's fine this way with this?
Yeah. Remember, it's going to be mostly in the air. So you're not going to be submerged.
So the rhizome will be buried in the clay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This is like the watch. Yeah. You missed it. You know. Well, really are doing once you they don't here to stay wet. You're just missing the problem and kind of give it the humidity. Theoretically, sometimes
Do you have, is there a tool around this? Will anybody actually come to a Wabi-kusa? It's like, no. We've been wanting to do it for like, what, 3 years? There's plants right here. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say the name of
which is like almost like a clover. So it's gonna grow like clovers, like a 4-leaf clover. Yeah, they can grow clovers.
It was already
Honestly, I'm not able to recommend it but it's not bad. It's a fun plant. It gives you a new character.
I've seen you, but I don't know where you're actually at. I'm gonna send you over.
Yeah, there's some down there. Hey, what things do you have over there? What you got over there? Got some water grass, big plant tubers, and there's some little fields that's
I just want to tell
got two.
Yes. I just think somebody over there. Hey, Tom. Anybody like some stuff? Oh, I'm sorry.
And there's an equal Portalis indica. I'll take a little bit. If there's any yeah. You want it?
You can break them up more than that.
Yeah, honestly, that's a huge one. It really just needs a tiny little spring. Hey, excellent. I like it. Very Wabi-kusa.
Yes.
This is aquatic 4-leaf clover. Oh, yeah. That is one thing. No, that's hydrocotyle species.
Okay, so this, is your plant pot?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys can plant this.
Oh, look, it's small cup that's running around here. Clear cup that's got the smaller, like, the band.
This is a runner that actually does quite well. All you need is a tiny bit, but it actually produces 4-leaf clovers. That'll give you some luck for your water. No, this is just it was emergent, now it's going to become severe.
So things to be emerged.
Yeah. No, yeah. You see the it was grown emerged, and then been submerged for about 2 weeks. So it's killing off those emergent seeds. Yeah. What's in that hole? Yeah, it's mine. Ooh, yeah, I'll take some of that.
We did drop some over the table.
Thank you. Drop some off.
Some of this,
Yeah.
it's hydrocotyle, they can plant it around. So whatever.
That's which is it'll stay fairly small.
Yes, ready.
No, man. Little foreground stuff.
Soil. Soil? Oh.
Sand. All right, so I don't. Nope, no worries.
I asked them in the front and they gave me a little cup.
You guys can you could actually miss it now if you want. And then, yeah, just pour water. Otherwise, no need to wrap it. Where it's at?
I don't want to have too much in there. It's just like.
Hey, it's solid state.
I've heard the name, like, Ferguson. I think
Okay, so all right, so I found this in my backyard. You're done? Yeah. Hold this thing. You can have the hostage that's out in my backyard.
Oh, I've got that exact tree.
Also, oh, yeah. This is a dead person that I pulled out of the pot. Rosemary. But I thought they wanted some, like, I don't know. Yeah, spidery looking.
I'm still watching it.
No, is that what it is? I don't know what it is.
Okay, so if hardscape,
How much do you want? They have to
That's like a, oh, this is Tuesday.
here, I bring it over.
Yeah, you know
How did I get the lipstick?
Okay, so I would hold this. This is a dead one. So grab some. You have someone. Yes. Drop tools. For slight. Kind of soft. Yeah. Literally, this was a dead bush. And this is a dead stick that I pulled out of my backyard. Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. All right. Does anybody else need one?
So can I set one down in August?
Okay, that is mostly lucky. So it's actually a floating. Water.
This is the one that I have.
Softening that water. You know, this again, this is all like very customized. Hardscape elements to do so desire. Literally, items in our backyard. Sticks and this dead pine, bush, light. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, so stems really just a tiny little bit and it stems in run. you know, stems can go is almost nothing.
I didn't know I was on TV. Okay, let me ask you a question.
So this is what they call hydrocarbon species development. It actually almost looks like a running it's almost like clover, so they've got that center that stands up on a stem. Theoretically, 9 months into it, you've got basically a box of aquatic that should have right? So that's going to actually ride on the first. And then basically as it goes in, theoretically, you might want to use it in diluted.
Yeah, maybe okay, cool. Okay.
Now, is it necessary? Probably not. But if you have deficiencies, 6-9 months in, 9 months, then you might go, you know what, I want another wabi, and you go and get rid of it. Yeah, I mean, you saw what this is hybrid model, that's
You want to take some off?
no problem. Honestly, thank you. Hopefully you guys have fun, and yeah, love to see how you progress.
Okay.
You're not going to live out trouble.
Okay, all right.
That's okay. I have a big one, a big one, and I want to put some more in there. You know, most people don't put a little bit.
I now I have a compact and then 2 10-yard flowers in my cover bag and then also last time I did it, so I've never really done plants before.
I just started when I got some of the baby. Yeah. Yeah, because one of my first questions was like, what am I doing wrong with this plant?
Nothing. It's really it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I came to realize, okay, well, that's just the
When I got photography, we've got new profiles already. I was so happy when I saw the new profiles. Yeah, it's like so hard, but when you get it,
yeah, well, let's get it.
I like the rails.
add water and I'm only going to put about maybe a half of the height. Yeah, that's going to be. And what are you putting in an air? I'm going to put some in air. Just rub on everything. Was it a fun experience? Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. Yes, I love it. I like them. You can see it on the dirt. Yeah. And it's sign fail. And you're not going to put a play around with much great plants. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just had that thing.
It'll push it down. And actually,
I think that sand
I think this is.
And I want to make certain thank everybody up here for hosting us. Definitely. Then deserve some praise.
I guess everybody's already got their balls and everything.
No, actually, is there moss to be had or no?
One of the balls.
There's moss right here.
Everybody's,
We got moss.
When you come to your home, everybody takes them home to the aquarium. Not just you throw them away.
Hey, thank you, Joe. No, honestly, I did. But you're right. You can see what I'm saying. We were starting to do a loss count.
Well, I told you pretty much. I didn't get how much.
Well, yeah, you know, like, there's just usually
Even under that, it's just a layer.
that's where it's going to kill us. We need to and you drop the call, and Joe lives in my neighborhood right over here, so he's I got lost.
Hey Roy, you know where the sand is about that?
Some over there. Let me bring them.
Where are you going to take this stand? Oh, awesome. I don't know where it
You
is,
make an
but
album and you can take pictures.
does anyone know
You
where
should, you see when you've done the album, after you watch some of there, all you do is click on it, and you can add photos to them, and they'll stay on the album.
That's fine.
And if you want to make them post it, it's like fun, and they were so organized and everything. Went smoothly.
Yeah.
Say all that, okay?
I'm gonna put my angry face and dump around.
I don't like different lives, or if I didn't know you were coming, I would have. Okay.
I'll let you know in advance next time. Delana?
It's in the box.
Oh, let me get my tweezer. Let's
Joe, Smitty, you brought this, right?
Yeah, if whatever's not used, take it home.
Which moss is this? What's your job?
I want to think it's Christmas. That doesn't look like Christmas.
It's been a nice little. Mind your way. We've been doing this dance for an hour now, and don't be shy.
let me have your name.
Jake.
I did want to ask you something. I wanted to start this new live balance language, but I heard a lot about right.
That's the thing about that. So really,
The four-leaf clovers?
yeah.
All you have to do is just smear them.
Some people say you can't put your wall with it.
You're saying that's just my job? All right.
Yeah, then you don't put a real count over your house. You still put the inside of it, so it won't like feed it away. But I can. So how do you like sand? I got it. I'm actually here to.
Java bombs.
What did I do? There's a teeny tiny bit.
I don't know. Once I know it's different. That to me, it's I think that's there's a stack right here. Yeah, it's fabulous. Those are rocks. That's what this white probably $1 or $2. We use she has some different grades. And you know,
Pour the water out.
she's like the white hair. You can just set it right. Oh, you know that one. And there's some extra bags in the I really want to scan
We actually did some moss graffiti.
I'm gonna shake your neck. They don't really. They're very much a pleasure. Sorry, we got skinny office. The admins. They're like, so even when people were they're not trying to do it. I love I'm gonna stick it in this bag. I guarantee you about the quality of that. It's fucking stuff. That's hydrochloric SPG.
This will grow now, and the seconds it will grow branches, so it's going to break off and plant. But yeah, it's just extended. That's the being the ground, the branches will grow off of it. And this thing gets like 8 foot tall, or 8 inches tall, 12 inches tall. It's only 6 inches tall. Step in the ground next to Oh, yeah.
So we got the first water
You're welcome.
That'd be awesome.
I was up Bigger rocks are in its white bucket. That's what all the buckets are.
And the mist does that water is basically alright, so it won't leave any water in proximity. And just be sure to use distilled water. Like go just go buy a gallon of distilled But you know what I was looking at? What I'm going to have to do when I is everything I've done is small. So, every day, 1 to 2 times a day, and after like 2 days, I'll see it.
you have something balance out in your house. So this thing you're just gonna go inside, you got like the thing out, and I'm just gonna cover the top and then that way I can just mix the whole thing with plants. So unfortunately, things don't, they really can't show sounds like he's on the road, man. He's gonna have to do some organizing. Well, but the thing too, every one of these plants that root gets in there has to be destroyed.
So this is a pH reducing substrate. That's what they kind of call it, active soil. This actually in the tank is lower pH. It's acidified, and that's what's going to provide you.
I thought they would got used for
lava rock is great for rooting.
But they're still
but
people that stay there.
it would be impossible to make
Look
it
at
all.
this big white
You know, there's no meat to the. It's not clay. Yeah.
They all got picked
So,
up.
I mean, it's more than all these things got picked off. Just depends on what you like. This one will lower the pH.
Yeah, that was like
lava rock.
3 or 4 rocks that I
And you
had
have
that
to
just
dose taken out of the
fertilized
tank
and
and
like I
lava
don't
rock
like that
tank.
there anymore. And I was
But inherently, once this runs out, I mean, then like screw it, just knock it out to the hammer, something like that, and then
I felt better afterwards.
Anger's gone now.
we got some more sand. If anyone needs sand, big rocks. Yeah. And you think there's
There's more bigger ones on sides than this white rock.
It looks like some sort of
The negative spaces and things like that. Yeah, just I figured nobody's going to put these back in the butt, so I'm not.
could be a really young plant. Once it grows in, it'll really things that have
Yeah.
white roots. I'll take a little. So y'all be careful, guys. I got a little
Yeah, it's the middle of that,
Don't forget.
Wait until they get about like that. Whenever they this big, it's easy. The movement of their life. They all like literally look the same.
I will
Oh, yeah. There's a crazy deal. Somebody had identified all these things.
Yes,
and
Carlos.
see all the different things.
What's that?
All the different edges in the drawing. Excellent size. Yeah, you can kind of go. That's what. No, that's not. Then you go down the list. And you go, that's what it looks like.
Right, that came with the list. Thank you.
No problem.
There's
There's a lid.
This one is this one? Oh, good, good. Yeah, how did your
Oh, you did.
excellent job.
Just a little bit. Once I get this full.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now make sure you get this thing before you leave. You know, get too big humid. You don't want it to dry out.
Yeah, they drop quick.
Yeah, you just want to have sun. You'll kind of have to play around with it. You know, if it's too close, you kind of, you know, hit it out. When I get like all trying to dry out, it's so down. It can work out in the rest of it. No, I write this because everything I read said like 10. There's like an initial plan.
That's why I want to I can do vegetables.
I said it to open it. Oh, it's lost. There's these two spots like Leslie.
That's the whole. But if you put it in your house, it will kill your battery. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
So I got
It's a whole lot. We can do all the decoration in the world, but you don't grow in the pie.
Yeah, then you can.
But honestly, that soil should soak it up.
You're
No, you're welcome. One of the weirdest ones.
I will. Did you read
I did.
Would you be good for your automatic turns every time I walk up to it?
That's what he does with it. I And then my sister, so I had to choose the people inside that with me. So, yeah.
Big shark too.
You're very welcome.
You're lucky that we don't let them do anything anyone wants.
Now, is there a chance that anybody else can use these, or are there still people working? Or maybe just go make a round and see if anybody just has an availability. Because some people might not even know yet.
Can you take more?
That's right.
Yes. Box or you're good? So smart. That's the whole point of it, right? Perfection. Yeah. This is
That's a good
I'm gonna step outside now.